Welcome to Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred, and joining us on this episode is Holly Dufrene, registered dietitian for diabetes and weight management at Terrebonne General Health System. Today, we will discuss Diabetes Awareness Month. Welcome to the show, Holly.
Thank you, Rhonda.
All right, let's get started. We got a lot to talk about today. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role at Terrebonne General.
So I am the Diabetes and Weight Management Coordinator. I am a registered dietitian and also a certified diabetes care and education specialist. I provide nutrition and diabetes education to clients in our outpatient clinic.
And you've been here for quite some time, right?
I have.
You've been doing this
Yes, it's about 13 years now.
Okay, well, great. I know you've educated a lot of people in this community. So, Diabetes Awareness Month is this month. Tell us a little bit more about why it's so important.
Every year in November is American Diabetes Month, and it's really to create awareness about the epidemic of diabetes that we have here in the United States. 38 million people here in the United States have diabetes, and 98 million have prediabetes. So it is definitely an epidemic, and we just want to, it's a rally to help prevent the spread of diabetes.
Those are alarming numbers.
Very alarming.
Okay, well, let's tell us a little bit more about how we distinguish between what is type 1, what is type 2, and what is prediabetes.
Type 1 diabetes is actually an autoimmune disorder where the body tends to attack the cells in the pancreas that make insulin. So those cells die off and insulin production is stopped altogether. So when someone is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, they do have to take an outside source of insulin for survival.
Okay, and type
2 diabetes is the more common of the two types. Type 2 diabetes is that we still make insulin, and insulin is a hormone that our pancreas makes, and it regulates the blood sugar in our body. So in type 2 diabetes, we still make insulin, unlike type 1 diabetes where there's no insulin production. We just make a decreased amount of insulin.
Okay.
And then prediabetes, and the alarming number of 98 million people in America have prediabetes, It means that that person is on their way to diabetes, where the levels may not be high enough in order to be in that diabetes category, but if we don't make some changes, we're headed to that type 2 diabetes.
So it can be prevented.
It can be prevented. We can slow down the progression of type 2 diabetes if we make some changes in our lifestyle behaviors.
And what are the risk factors for developing type 2 diabetes?
For type 2 diabetes, family history is a big risk factor. We tend to inherit the risk factor insulin resistance. And if we have a strong family history of diabetes, then that does put us more at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Age greater than 45 puts Americans at an increased risk for diabetes. Sedentary lifestyle, not very active, being overweight. If a woman has previously had gestational diabetes, that does put risk later on in life for developing type 2 diabetes. And some ethnic groups have a higher prevalence of type 2 diabetes, in particular African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, and Pacific Islanders.
What are some common symptoms of diabetes?
The most common symptoms that we see are increased thirst, increased urination, blurry vision, fatigue, and fatigue outside of the norm. I know a lot of us are tired, depending on the hustle and bustle that we have during the week. But it's an increased tiredness. And then
noticeable.
We can have frequent infections and slower healing wounds. Those are all very classic symptoms of diabetes, whether it be type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes. The symptoms are the same.
And how was prediabetes and diabetes diagnosed?
They can be diagnosed with simple blood tests, and there's a variety of blood tests that can be done. a fasting blood sugar can be done. If the fasting blood sugar is greater than or equal to 126, then that's an indicator, but it does have to be confirmed with another fasting blood sugar before the diagnosis can be made. A glucose tolerance test where the patient would drink a glucose drink and their blood sugar would be tested at certain intervals after consuming the glucose beverage. The most common way that we see that diabetes is diagnosed is with an A1C level, and that's a 3-month blood sugar average. That is a test result that you can't really fake out. And what I mean by that is sometimes, like a fasting blood sugar, you can straighten up your eating habits for a little while and pass with that fasting blood sugar. But an A1C is a 3-month blood sugar average. So I like to say it tells all of what happened over the past 3 months. And so
Can't cheat on that one.
that's right. You can't cheat on that one. I'm going to go over the levels. That way everyone's aware of what's considered a normal A1C, prediabetes, and a diabetes A1C. So if someone's never been diagnosed with any blood sugar problems before, then a normal A1C is 5.6 or less. A prediabetes A1C is 5.7 to 6.4, and a diabetes A1C is 6.5 or higher.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that helpful information with everybody, and they're much more aware about diabetes now. Appreciate it, Holly.
You're welcome.
For more information about diabetes and weight management, please visit tghealthsystem.com. Thanks for joining us on To Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred, and we'll see you right back here next week.